That was a very fast 30 seconds. I was like, man, this is taking a minute. Oh, hi.
Oh, the
Hello.
socks. The
Look at them.
infamous toes.
Oh.
Oh.
You know that layout worked really well when we did THP last week, though. I mean, it doesn't
Yeah,
do
it's
us any
because
justice here,
it's
but
because Ryan and I are too close to the camera. You and Jake and everybody were like leaning back, relaxing. Me and Cox were like, "Hey, what's going on?
see my nose hair?
Hey, how are you?" I was trying to show you guys my
Yeah, I know.
beautiful
I had to throw you out.
my mangrove, only a year old. It's growing
What do you mean a
nicely.
mangrove? What kind of like a mangrove
I
bush?
actually it's either a red or a white. I don't know. I won't know for a little while, but I raised it from a propagule that Anna Maria stole from me from a garden show.
Propagule.
A propagule. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages.
Yeah, it's your turn to do the intro for once, damn it.
You are joined. Well, let's rephrase
Oh
that.
man.
Sorry,
Oh,
man. It's been a long day. It's been a long day.
yeah.
You're listening and or watching to Snakes and Stogies, episode number 114 on the Herpetoculture Network. Brought to you by the fine people of the Pacific Northwest, the Puget Sound Pythons, and the exclusive cage, rack, enclosure, habitat manufacturer of the show and the network, BlackBoxCages.com. We now, all of us own black boxes, and I actually have some photos that I took. They're not the best. I haven't had time to make them pretty and set things up or whatever, but I want to showcase mine because I got one of the several that I'm getting, and
I wanted to ask you about
the
yours.
pack job is phenomenal. But before we get into that, we're joined by the one and only Mr. Ryan Cox.
I feel like a
Or
flight
is-
attendant.
Yes. Ryan, you're muted.
Yeah. Man, we're off to or as he's named himself,
welcome to Snakes and
Gaboon
Stogies.
Bite Victim number 7.
There were 7 last
What's
year,
up, y'all?
right?
I don't know.
I don't know.
That
Can
was
y'all
the
hear
witty
that
name I
jet?
came up with.
Who
I
flies
can't.
jets at 9 at night? Our government. That's who.
Stealth
Force.
fighters.
I don't mind the jets, but I do mind the jets when I can't hear anything that's going on because they're flying above my house.
Scott Iper says it sounds like a public service announcement.
It is.
Don't worry about
I'm not
those
cold.
MG42s.
Scott, I have not forgotten about the 5 questions thing. I've been busy. We're gonna make it happen in the next week. I'm gonna hit you up either tonight after we're done or in the morning or tomorrow, my morning. That's like your lunchtime, I think, because you're in the future, and we're gonna figure that out. But I have 2 other 5 questions recorded, edited, and ready to go. They just have to be uploaded. So one's going to be coming on Wednesday, and the other one's going to be coming the following Wednesday. And I'm hoping to have more recorded by then. So completely unrelated. Just figured I'd let everyone know.
Yes.
Good. Glad you all lined out.
Oh, Darren Boswell, look at that. We got 2 Aussies in the house.
Nice.
Let's do it tonight straight after if you're game. I'd have to come up with questions on the fly, which I can do, I guess, if Phil and Cox sort of take the helm for a few minutes while I focus my brain power and harness it, because when it comes to those 5 questions, I'll be completely honest, I put way more effort and thought into those questions than I do the outlines for most of these shows.
Nice.
Because I want them to be like good questions.
Yeah, and you don't
not
want
like
to,
the generic.
Yeah, catered to the questionee.
Yes.
Your 5 questions videos are on point because I felt like when you first started doing it, like, not gonna lie, I was like, oh great, this is gonna be the same video every week with different things. But you've done very good at keeping it very varied. Very varied.
Well, I want to like Phil said, I want the questions catered to the guest. Like, I don't want it to be like, what's it like living in Australia? I want to be like, what's the biggest problem between like what you see in the Australian hobby versus what you see online with the US hobby? Like, you got to take things and snap its neck. Turn it around.
Like I actually like what Scott said. Scott said 2 questions from me, 2 questions from Smitty, 2 questions from, or 1 question from Cox.
I can do that if you guys think of them, I'll write them down. Yeah,
we got time. We'll figure it out.
Good Lord.
So I'm not good at shooting from the hip with questions. It takes like 2 days.
That's all right. We got time. We'll figure.
Neither am I.
But Coxicle, what are you drinking and smoking, brother?
So
some of that
my stash was like almost empty, and it's a Kentucky Fire Cured. Just I found saw a generic 10 for, I think it was like the cigarillos for like
Anatellas.
I think it was a 10 for like $11.
I was gonna smoke one of the long ones that Smitty gave me. I only have one left. I was gonna smoke that tonight, and I said, you know what? No, I'll save it for something else. I just smoked it tonight.
I was so sick of those things.
And what are we drinking?
No, actually, I'm drinking Hornitos Ranch Water.
What? That sounds like ranch, ranch dressing.
No, it's like a tequila, lime juice, and like carbonated water.
Like the stuff that you find sitting in a horse trough after like 2 months.
That's literally what I was thinking. I was thinking of horse trough goobers.
Ooh.
Horse
mixed with peccary hair.
Goobies up in there. Maybe a floating mosquito larva in there. A little protein.
Yeah. You know, they put the mealworm at the bottom of the bottle of tequila. They should just put like peccary hairs in the bottle of the,
some malaria infested mosquito larva.
Spice it up a bit. A little tuberculosis with every shot.
Hey,
does the body good.
TV never hurt nobody.
Just a pinch.
It actually hurt everyone.
There's actually a whole hospital here in Louisville just for that.
Right?
There's a whole hospital in Louisville for tuberculosis.
Yeah, have you ever heard of Waverly Hills?
No, man, I'm not caught up on my world-renowned hospital facilities.
Man, that's what that Disney show was based off of. Wizards of Waverly Hills.
Yeah. It's actually it was a hospital here for like the 1890s up until like the 90s, for like about 100 years actually. Now I say that. But it was just it specialized in tuberculosis patients. They like had like a whole like funeral train in the back that was just always ready to go because so many bodies were just coming down this like chute every day. People just dying from TB back in the day.
Wow, jeez.
Yeah, if when Jake and Casey come up here, if the trip is cut short because of the new job and everything, I might see if we can't go on a day tour there.
That'd be cool, man.
It's like it's pretty cool
with cadavers.
And it's it's like Disney World, but it's just like going down a splash mountain.
Yeah. Oh man, Billy Jenkins touching on that Woodford Reserve tonight. That's classic.
Well, hold up. Since when is Jake and Casey coming to hang out with you?
Yeah, where's our invite?
Jake never.
Did you not read our group chat ever?
I have not been in the group chat in like 2 weeks.
Phil's been AWOL, man.
I know.
Oh, well, Phil, I told you to file in.
All right. No, I'll check it out.
I think I'm gonna come like the 1st of June or some shit like that. I gotta look again. We set a date. We were gonna go down to my parents' place, down on the border, but it's the new job's gonna make it kind of weird because I'm off. Like I'm technically working 5 days, but I'll be off like Saturday night, Sunday night, and I go back to work Monday night. So things will fall kind of weird with that. So it may just be kind of like they come up here, we all hang out. They'll just crash at my place. We'll save some money and find some good spots near us. Maybe go hit up some timbers about 45 minutes south of here.
I need you to get me them crazy milk coppers, them purple coppers.
Well, I was in that area this weekend.
Man, the Rattlesnake Conservancy got me with their April Fool's post, dude.
Dude, they got everybody, man.
I was
you were so pissed.
I was way more excited about that than I should have been, but I was like, yeah, finally. People came to their senses.
Finally.
And I was like, wait a second. I looked at the date and I was like, shit.
Yep. That'll happen.
If anybody missed it, Rattlesnake Conservancy was like, Crotalus atricadatus is now a full species after years of research and all these other things. So basically, canebrakes got to be their own species, which at one point they were either their own species or subspecies. I don't remember which one off the top of my head. Of course, Phil and I have talked about it a lot. And so I thought it was legit, and I realized within about 30 seconds of posting, "Oh, sweet, check this out, guys," in the little group chat, that I was like, "Wait a second, it's the first."
Yeah, they got you pretty. You were so fired up. You were like, "Hell
They
yeah,
pick, well,
it's
they
a
picked
thing."
up the one thing that everyone's like been waiting
Yeah.
for. Not that it even matters, but still, just
Right. Billy Jenkins, hashtag Canebreaker bust. So,
man.
Smitty, what are you smoking tonight?
I got my old standby, man. I got some Neanderthals, some HNs.
That's good, man. I went with my Old Faithful as well. Liga Privada number 9 in a Toro.
Ooh, nice.
This is just I'm convinced this is like the best cigar ever made by a mortal. I don't care what anybody says.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Neanderthals are it.
I haven't had a chance to go to the tobacco store just because life and busy and time, and it's a hike, and I need to freshen up.
If only we had someone that shipped cigars and worked at a cigar shop.
I know. I always forget. I know.
Well, that's what I went out last second to get these for the night because I was like, all I was down to was like, I think I got like a factory second, and I got a full size Kentucky Fire Cure in my case. And I'm like, man, like I was like, maybe I'll get a Cohiba tonight. Like I'm on like a little mini vacation anyway. And then I was like, nah, we'll go for quantity over quality. We'll get the little 10 going. And I opened it up about.
You know what we got in at work? We got your L40s.
Ooh,
really?
I might have talked to you about that one.
I haven't seen those in a hot minute.
No, I have not seen those in a hot minute either.
Speaking of hard to get sticks, what's up with the 99s, man?
We've got like a whole box of them on the shelf. No one's touched them.
All right, I'll buy some tomorrow. Buy some tonight.
They got so much hype because they've Drew Estate's been teasing them for like 3 years, and finally they hit shelves, and they're only allotting stores like one box, per order. And I think a lot of people tried them and just they got overhyped, and people smoked one and were like, "Man, it's good, but I'm gonna go back to my number 9s or T52s." So Drew Estate kind of shot themselves on the foot on that one, if you ask me. But
that's what happens when you hype something up too much,
That's the worst thing when they hype something up to no end and then they just don't deliver.
And it's not a bad cigar by any means, but that's the problem. It's like they
hyped it up.
They kept telling everybody like, "Oh, here's this cigar you're never going to be able to find. It's going to be awesome. Check it out."
Is that the one that they were like sending it to certain stores and they were like directing it, like you had people coming to you for that cigar?
Kinda like they did a lottery system for a while.
Okay, yeah, that's the one I'm thinking about then. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find.
I asked every shop by me, and half of them didn't even know what it was.
That's what I needed to go to our actual like local. Like there's a store that I need to go to more. If I was a good person, and the dude's like a legit like tobacconist like you. He like put his heart and soul into starting his little tiny hole in the wall shop, just for sticks and stuff. And like he always has some stuff, and you go in there and you're like, hey man, like that's how I got into. I walked in there, I was like, hey man, like yeah, I want to try some cigars. And the guy's like, what are you, like 12? And I'm like, actually I'm 19, sir, but like so he took him back there and we talked about some stuff, and he's like, what do you like and stuff like that. And he sent me home with like Don Pepin. Is that brand? Is that right? Yeah.
Don
Pepin. Yeah. Yeah, he sent me home with one of those.
He was
some
like
really like
trying to knock you out, dude.
Yeah, well he sent me with a mix. He sent me that this really light like acid blondie or whatever, some shit like that, and then some big ass triple Maduro.
That was probably Camacho.
Yeah, and he goes, go home, try these out. He said, what did he say? I think he said, steal some of your dad's bourbon. If your dad don't drink bourbon, steal as heavy as beer he has and sit there and just enjoy it. And he was a cool cat. I hope he's still alive. Fuck, it's been goddamn almost 10 years now. But yeah, it was a cool little place.
Yeah, they don't make them like that. They don't make them like that anymore, man. Yeah. True, legit, good old boys.
And that's what I got this tonight because I went quantity over quality. But man, the Boveda pack, I guess Drew Estates is putting little tiny Boveda packs
in the tins.
In their tins now.
Yeah.
Man, that thing was drier than a communion cracker.
Yeah, I mean, That just means it's been in there a really long time. So
I put it in my. I set about 8 of them in my little pelican case and let them kind of hydrate again.
I've got some from Phil that have been in my case for like a year, and they're still like almost bursting at the freaking seams. They're so damn full.
Yeah, but that's because you got the nice pelican case. If it was just a tin man, they'd leak.
Oh yeah,
they'd leak real bad. Yeah. Yeah, I took this one out of my travel box because I didn't feel like climbing across my room and getting the other one. But that pack, I think, is literally the Daytona pack, and it's still squishy.
Yeah.
You know? The ones from fucking April or from August last year?
Yeah, dude.
Damn.
It's just starting to get firm around the edges, like the border of the pack, and it's a 62, and it's still squishy. So kudos to both of them.
I have one from the Daytona before last from Phil.
Really?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's
open.
It's in the Pelican.
Yeah, but it's open though.
Yeah.
It's the cellophane peel. Wow, that's awesome.
The seal, man. It's all about the seal.
All about the seal. Super cool.
What's new on the reptile front for the week?
Nothing too crazy on this end.
Yeah, nothing too crazy on me either. You know, feeding stuff, warming stuff back up that I'm not even breeding just to keep things cyclical. My big female rink, my biggest one, my meanest one, was looking real drab, and I assumed that it was winter colors, which I'd not experienced before, despite having all the ones I play with over the years. And she shed, and I was like, all right, she shed. Let's see if she changed color. She doesn't shed in like, I don't know, 4 months, 5 months maybe. And dude, perfectly back to normal. So I'm really thinking that was some kind of seasonal darkening for winter. So,
I mean, it would make sense.
Yeah, it would.
I mean, you get that with a lot of those kind of species. They will darken up.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get some photos put together to send to Phil in a little bit. That way you can kill some time.
There's been good photos coming from the NPR gang in SoCal, which there has been. Yep. They've had a phenomenal trip, it looks like.
Man, it looks so cool.
Scott says he saw a bloke get smoked by a Textilis.
Oof.
That's always fun. Cox sent me a video of some dude getting bit by a gharial earlier. That was funny.
Oh my god. That video was wild. Back,
and you see the thing like arching up, like, what is that? And then it whipped around and grabbed him. Scott said it was hilarious.
Dude, because he did. He
send
went
that video
pat, and then the gharials went whack. I'm getting this album put together so I can send Phil some pictures from the reptile zoo.
Well, it's funny because you can tell he got bit because it shows the gharial's mouth open and there's like blood all in it. Like there's a spot of blood where it grabbed him.
Man, I am no photographer like Casey Cannon. Going these pictures from the zoo, and I'm like, man, that's absolute trash ass.
Dude, Casey's got some great photography action.
Dustin wants to know if we're coming out to Arizona this year. I wish.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've already booked up. I've already allocated my time this year. I will not be taking a bona fide herp trip this year. So I may do something either before Daytona or after Daytona, but that's going to be about it other than local stuff.
I do maybe plan something for 2023. I might have to make that happen. Let's all just go to Costa Rica.
Dude, because Kara has a friend and she's a literal Spanish teacher, and she's spent time in Spain, I think in Mexico, and maybe Costa Rica and Panama, like doing like little study road trips and stuff like that. So like she could like get us around and keep us out of trouble at least.
I know enough Spanish to not get killed.
That's a big thing right there.
I know enough Spanish to
I'm about to figure out
blow you up where the bathroom is and how to order a beer.
Mexico. I mean, herp in Mexico, man. That's one of my top spots. We're gonna get into that in a little bit too, but
no, because I think Costa Rica would be pretty dope to go to, because there's some places you can hit that are like fairly resorty, so you could take your family with you, and you could be like, excuse me, they can stay at the resort, hang out, do their thing, hit the pool.
Disguise it as a family vacation.
That's it right there.
Katie would be on to me real quick though. She would figure it out in a heartbeat before
What?
we even left. Before we even got on the plane, she'd know. She'd figure it out.
Oh, yeah. There's thing is, your cat's out of the bag. Katie's gonna be like, "What are you doing?"
She can read me like a book. She knows when something's out, and I'm trying to find it. She knows all these things. It's
Cox, where'd you send them, buddy?
I'll send them on Messenger to you.
Okay.
I sent about 20 photos. Just something like you can throw some together whenever Smitty has to kill time in a second. I'm gonna run in here and grab another ranch water.
Okay. They have not shown up yet. I imagine they will shortly. Oh, there they go.
Yeah, they were literally loading.
Okay, cool.
nice.
Oh man.
I did go road cruising the other night and did it on Instagram while I drove, which was probably not a great idea, but didn't see anything. Saw dead copperhead.
Yeah, I'm beginning to think that the live road cruising is not a good idea.
Oh, I'm an idiot because I had a phone holder, and instead of putting my phone in it, I was like holding it while I was driving.
Yeah.
Cigar in hand as well. I ashed on myself.
That'll happen.
Ranch water.
Mike said he found
not that warm either.
Worm snake.
It's not warm, thank God.
All right, let's see some photos.
Worm snakes are cool. That was actually one of the first snakes I ever caught was worm snake.
All right, here we go. What do we got here, sir?
Oh my, it's hard to tell in these pictures because you're trying to take it through glass in a dark building, but that is like a 14-foot fucking scrub python. So
really
in KRZ
watermelon wall.
Yeah, so KRZ is divided up into you show up there, you pay your $10 or $12 to get in, and then you show up to this little tent, and then they have their intern there, and the intern's like, hey, welcome to Reptile Zoo, gives you the whole spiel we are a venom extraction facility. All these sheds you see around us are full of venomous snakes, mostly western diamondbacks and Russell vipers. The whole thing. And then they direct you to different areas. And so this is from their area called Giants. And there's a scrub python, a Cayman lizard, a tegu, a reticulated python. Behind it, there's a native turtle habitat, which is, I think, so cool, but it was closed this time. And I think that's it. That scrub, so that's probably about a 3-foot deep pit beneath it that they were filling up with water at the time. And that scrub, she had a head, I'm not kidding you, was as big as my hand.
Dude, it looks like a 4-foot IJ.
It does. That's what I thought it was at first.
Well, because that room is 6 foot deep, probably 10 foot wide, but probably from the above the pit right there, it's probably 3 foot tall, and that's a whole cedar tree they've got cocked across there.
Wow.
That thing was truly impressive. There's the Cayman lizard, and that was I went with a group of people who were not reptile people. Like Kara's, she deals with me, so God love her. And her friends are just genuinely curious, and they were in love with the Cayman lizard because that thing, it was in full color. The head was super bright.
Look at that tail.
Looking around. It was pretty cool.
Ooh, there we go.
There we go.
That's a Western Achistrodon.
Nice.
So Phil, do you know, did they lump all copperheads together?
So,
depends on who you ask.
Yeah, it depends on who you ask. And forgive me for clearing my throat, but do you remember a while ago I sent you a collage that I made of the different ones?
Yes.
Okay, so in the herper world, in my opinion, that collage, which I will send to Smitty and we can share it everywhere, that collage, and they're just photos I stole off Google, so don't get too excited, folks. That gives you a good representation of each species in one picture, so you can kind of get an idea of what it's supposed to look like. It's a good representation of the phenotypes. Now, as far as I know, there's only 3 or 4 now, because I think everything in the southeast, like everything southeast of the Mississippi, got lumped together, to the best of my knowledge. And now I'm pretty sure that the Osage got mixed in with Transpecos now, but I could be wrong. I don't remember. But yeah, they changed it like they changed their underwear.
Okay, because I was asking the intern there, and the intern, he was actually really knowledgeable. He had croc experience, and he worked at a couple research places for them. And I was like, just genuinely curious. I was like, are all copperheads lumped together now? He's like, depends who you ask. He's like, some people say there's an east-west variant. Some people say there's a north-south. He goes, it's just honestly, we just stick to the eastern and the western for now.
Yeah, and that's interesting because I know Underground got a bunch of field collected stuff that was out of Texas, and it not Texas, was it Alabama? No, I don't remember where, but there was supposed to be 2 species, and man, we racked our brains. We could not figure out. There was no difference between them. They looked identical, and there was like 20 of them. So who knows? We could have been they could have all just been westerns or whatever, but it didn't. None of them looked like a textbook specimen, and it could have very well been an intergrade zone. I have no idea. So, but yeah,
because that was very popular with our little group. Is they loved the western. They walked up and they're like, "Whoa, Ryan, what is this?" I'm like, "Well, technically, that's just a copperhead." And they're like, "Whoa, I think that's the Pacific rattlesnake." Oh, no, that's the Mexican. That's a Mexican rattlesnake.
That's a Mexican? Just looks like a normal Atrox to me.
It looks like an Atrox to me.
Yeah.
Well,
let's keep going.
Well, the thing is, it looks like a normal Atrox, but I think it was way bigger than the Atrox.
Okay.
In weight. And that thing, it's hard to get this because there's glass. And so there's Justin, what's that?
Yeah, that's a sub-op.
Wow, look at the fatness on that thing.
I think it was hefty. It was huge. It's at one point we walked through. We were looking at a black pine snake that was showing off, cruising around doing its thing, and the Trans-Pecos like sprawled out. And Kara was like, "She's like, you need one of those." I'm like, "They're huge." It was every bit of 6 foot long.
Wow,
they're awesome snakes, man. You need one, get one. Facebook does it weird where it's like reversed. It doesn't make any sense.
And like
it
look,
does.
See how it keeps wanting to kick me out.
Yeah.
So there's the pine.
That's the the black pine that was out cruising around doing its thing, doing an old Neodesha. That's why I was geeking out. There was some stuff in there because KRZ's been around for a long time, and that's the big old 6 foot Neodeshas were cool as shit.
Yeah, it's really cool to see them when they're not like all broken and cracked and crappy,
Yes, Scott.
In a potential hazard.
Yeah, right.
Bunch of stuff in the tracks.
Hey, look at that thing.
Hey.
Oh yeah, the chondro they had mixed in there this is in the tropical venomous house, and we walked in there, and then Kara goes, I point out, she's like, "That is a huge green tree python," and I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "That is way bigger than any of the green tree pythons we've seen at Dominique's or at zoos or anywhere." I'm like, that was a hefty biok, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it looks like a biok.
Thick with 2 C's.
Mm-hmm.
Thick with 2 C's.
Had the big dragon snout where the nose all flare out and stuff. That's a cantil.
Nice.
That was something I thought was pretty cool. I didn't know cantails were part of the Quicherodon either.
Oh yeah.
How come those are more popular?
About that.
I think because the ones that are really pretty are really expensive, and the ones that aren't is just like a elegant cottonmouth.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Nice. I really love how the backgrounds are painted.
Big old mamba.
Is that a Jamie?
I can't remember if that was a Jameson. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a Jamie.
That's a palmetto corn.
Is this a Philippine?
No, Symar? I believe.
That's not Symar. No way.
I can't remember. It's because there were so many. That was the thing, was like the cobras, because you were a big elapid guy. So for me, like I look at the vipers and I really zone in on those. And the cobras, whenever I start looking, I'm like, wait a minute, what is this again? I was looking over, I'm like, is this a black and tan? No, that's not a black and tan. It's all over.
Nice.
It's a huge collection of cobras. The big ass puff, or no, that's
puffy. Yeah, it's a puff.
Yeah, it's a big puff.
Equatorial spitter.
I think it was.
Yeah, it's banded snouted.
Mm-hmm.
Zebra.
I love I just realized there's a zebra in the background too. God, I can't believe it. I had to take that picture so many times because these are behind double glass. So there's a glass wall in the front, and then there's the glass of the cage behind it.
Because they're worried the Dubois are going to teleport through both pieces of glass through time and space like they do with their
Now, were they saying this is rustly, or are they calling this something else?
I can't remember. Honestly, I wasn't looking at the.
Okay.
That wasn't one I was looking at.
Should have taken pictures of all the black pictures.
Well, I took a picture.
It's really light colored.
You should have been ready for follow-up questions.
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry, Justin. I was trying to. There's the black and white spitter they had.
Yeah, it's
just sitting in the corner.
Yeah,
that thing was. I didn't realize how cookies and cream those things can look.
Oh,
I did not realize because I've seen videos and then I saw that one in real life. I'm like, wow, that thing is literally black and white. Huh, that's impressive.
Yeah, the lighting does not.
Stop tapping on the glass. No, it's hard, so hard to get pictures in there. What was that? Oh, the best, the levitator.
Yeah, right.
Big.
That's good. They got the new scientific name that no one can pronounce.
Is that a jumper?
I took a picture of that one because I knew you all always like say those things levitate and shit.
Oh yeah, awesome. It's a big one, man. It's a good size.
Oh dang, yeah. Look at that thing.
Yeah, you figure that water bowl is probably at least a 12-inch, if not a 16-inch diameter water bowl.
Yeah, I think a lot of them were 12-inch water bowls because they had a habu in one. That habu was just we were in there and it got in there to soak and it overflowed the whole thing and the cage was just like filling up so fast.
Huh, nice big old king.
That king was cool because there was where it was there's a king. And I want to say there was maybe a rink above it and a red spitter. Cool. And the
I'm
king
just
was
amazed
just
to
like
see
out
a picture
cruising.
of a king cobra without someone's hand in frame with it,
or a rubber one,
right? Well, I almost did my hand in frame with it because that thing was huge. I've never seen a full size king before. I've always seen them at zoos when they have like an 8-foot one before they trade them out for something else that doesn't scare the shit out of the keepers as much.
Oh yeah,
and he was just. They said his name was Puppy, and they said he was 14 foot long, and he's 25 years old.
Wow.
Very cool.
I was like, damn. That was some cool stuff like that I seen sitting around there. I thought like they had the Russell's Vipers. They had a thing of, I think, Crow Fab, but it was in Spanish. And there was another vial. I think it was some Thai Red Cross stuff. Here you go, Phil.
Nice. Very cool.
You can see in the next picture the fancy worm snake.
Holy crap, I was not expecting it to be that big.
What is it? I couldn't read the label from here.
So
it's a stiletto snake.
Oh my god. What?
That is what happens when you tube feed fossorial snakes.
Lord. Looks like a rubber ball.
It literally looks like a rubber ball. Look at those fat rolls. Jeez.
Like a busted can of biscuits.
No wonder it's not underground.
I was like, Jesus Christ.
That was not meant to be there. What is
that? I didn't send you that one. I didn't send you that one. Don't you put that juju on me.
That's from your message thing.
Oh, that's
your messenger thing.
Sorry about that.
We do not condone free handling at the Herpetoculture Network.
KRZ does not free handle. This is not a thing. Scott
that was himself. That was a picture that Cox sent me many, many months ago saying, look at this dipshit.
Oh, I think you sent me the same one too, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
I like to see all the videos of dipshits. Speaking of that,
plenty of them to go around on the internet.
I'm going to fill the one of the Gharial too. Not to be shown on air, but for shits and gigs, it's very funny.
Yeah. Oh, somebody just sent me something else.
Soul.
Oh, here's the Gharial.
Henry.
All right, hold on.
Yeah.
Henry sending stuff?
No, it's Cox sending the Gharial video.
Oh.
So.
Damn it, Henry.
Damn, somebody coming in late tonight in their private plane. I'm by a little private strip, and this dude is coming in late on his little Cessna.
All right, here we go. Share screen.
God, we're gonna get flagged.
Ready?
We're not gonna get flagged. It's not even. It's like no worse than a cat bite. Schwack! You don't even see anything.
He's so lucky that's a gharial.
Yeah, I love how he just turns around and walks away, as in like, damn, it got me. You know that felt good.
I can say I've been there with different
himself.
species. Oof.
You just got spiked.
You feel real fucking dumb after you do something like that.
Yep. Like, who pets it like that, though? Come on, man.
People are goofy.
He like patted it right when it bit him, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm impressed that you were even able to get that close to it to be able to do that. But
was it in like some kind of institution or like?
I hope not. There's a bunch of trash and crap all over it in the background.
Yeah, it looks like somebody's like backyard.
Okay.
It was so terrible.
A community drainage ditch or something.
That's someone kills me. You see. That's like, do you remember like when Steve Irwin had a thing where they had the giant saltwater croc and like this, like it was like a 10 foot by 10 foot square? Remember that episode?
Vaguely.
Yeah. Yeah, so I say kind of stuff like that. I'm like, man, the people still keep crocs like that, 20 years later.
Bet you they do.
I bet you they do.
Well, damn, we all know better.
But overall, it looked like it was a great time.
Yeah, it was cool. We did some hiking, saw some stuff. I was flipping over rocks and logs and stuff. And the one guy who was with us, he was getting into it too. But then I was like, hey, man, be careful when you shove your hand completely under the rock because Red River Gorge is really known for their copperhead population. I'm like, they'll be cold, but don't do that. I'm like, pull back.
Nice. Does KRC ever surplus out stuff or no?
I have no clue. Probably not. Jim, so whenever I went last summer, God love me, it was the day after I went to go watch the venom extractions because I'm just curious. I've never seen one done, and I want to see how an actual professional did it. And he was there, and he was just sitting on the park bench, and I was like, there's a group of kids gathered around him, and they canceled it because that was the day after he got whacked by an Aatrox. So he's like, I'm not feeling it today. So
yeah, he's a wealth of knowledge and experience, but he's definitely old school in his approach.
Dude, so he was actually doing extractions this time, and he was fucking flying through Aatrox. He did we watched him do like 30 snakes in like probably a 10-minute span.
Wow.
He was just like going there, and they were juveniles. They're probably maybe 2 foot long.
If I recall, he does like 100 an hour, or if I'm not mistaken. One of the videos, like little mini documentaries I saw on him, they talked about, he milks a lot of snakes in a fairly short amount of time. But
yeah, he was just probably doing it slow for having people, and the way it was done, it was kind of like he had, because KRZ it's not a facility, it's not like the M-Toxin lab.
Right.
Like M-Toxin, you see videos of it, it's one separate lab. Well, KRZ is it's actually a bunch of tiny kind of like 10 buildings. And so when you walk through the property, you see these 10 buildings everywhere, and you're kind of roped off. You can't go near them or anything. But that's where all the animals are housed, like the working animals. So they have 2 by the turtle pits, and you go up there, and they open one, and he sets up, and he's working there. But he did 30, and he said, all right, I gotta stop. He's like, my knees are locking up. He's like, I got bad knees, man. And so then he was weird. He was very zoned in, leveled.
Yeah.
Excuse me, laser guided. And then once he was said, he told his intern, he's like, hey, I'm done for the day. He stops, put the Aatrox back in the tub, slides the rack in, and it's just a happy old man. Nice. He went from resting bitch face to happy, smiling, talking to little kids.
That's how you got to do it, man.
Explaining how rattlesnakes give live birth to one person. It was really cool. He's a very cool cat.
Very cool. That's awesome. Glad to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, you do it that often and that many times, you sort of surely get into this sort of Zen space where any external stimuli just don't exist for that brief.
Yeah, I know. I pissed off a lot of people ignoring them when I was handling stuff, especially underground. People asking questions and trying to talk to me, and I just ignore the shit out of them. So
It's like, do you not see what's in front of me?
Dude, it was crazy. You've seen the documentary. I think we've seen the same one where he's also, whenever he milks, he does it barefoot.
I never
Did you see that once, maybe?
I've seen.
Yeah,
so I remember there was a Nat Geo special years and years and years ago, and they were doing road cruising. He was barefoot, but he explained it as in like that's just he's more comfortable doing it that way. But
yeah, well,
their own, I guess.
I remember he was on Joe's podcast. I think he mentioned that too. And today, the other day when we watched him do the live extractions, he had snake boots on, like the knee high, thick padded boots.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I've told people on many occasions that obviously you want to wear shoes of some kind, but never, ever, ever wear flip-flops in captivity with venomous. It's better to just go barefoot because you get tripped up on your own flip-flop too many times.
Too clunky.
Yep. Your foot lifts up and moves, and the shoe stays where it was. So.
Okay, so yeah, somebody said it's because he had a bad foot and it's more comfortable for him. Yeah, because he mentioned that before on a couple podcasts. He was like he had those on. And I was like, oh, so hope he's still doing good. I know he's had a lot of medical issues recently, and a lot of them not even snake related. So
yeah, man, it happens to the best of us. So
time waits for no man.
Yep.
How far is that from where you live, though?
So it's in a town called Slade, and Slade is about an hour 45 from me. So it's not terrible.
Because I think I remember looking it up, and is Slade on the near the South Carolina border, or is it on the other side?
Technically, be closer to the South Carolina side. It's more eastern Kentucky by the border. It's by by where Doc's from and shit like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's down that way.
I remember looking it up on the map, and I was like, oh, that's not terribly far. I mean, it would be, probably a 7-hour drive, if I had to guess, but.
If you all ever come up here and want to do it, let me know, man, because there's all kinds of little cabins you can rent down there. We stayed at one this weekend. It was overlooked the valley. It was really cool. It was like $200 a night.
It's not bad.
We camp right by there. Because it's like there's a road at Forks. KRZ is on the left. The campground's on the right. It's like $20 a night for us to camp there. And that's why that one day I told Kara, I was like, yeah, you gonna eat lunch? And she's like, yeah, I'm gonna eat lunch. I'm gonna walk over to the Reptile Zoo, check it out. So it's really cool. A lot of things to do. Good food, very accessible.
Very nice.
What's the playlist tonight, Justin? What are you listening to? I see you bobbing your head.
I don't know. It's just on random.
Just on random.
Like my liked songs list. You get anything new recently?
No, actually, I've been really.
Where's the collection at?
I've been really stagnant, man. I mean, the newest thing I got that Parthopide from Doc, Dr. Wyman. I say Doc, and I realized we talked like 2 PhDs, but Dr. Wyman sent me a Parthopide. He was gonna send to somebody near him that was really into just wanting a pet snake, but I think they backed out. So I got her, but I'm just waiting on these Mexican hogs. It'll be my first clutch ever, and I'm already regretting this decision.
Why?
Hearing stories, because apparently Mexican hogs are terrible to get started.
That's the case with a lot of that stuff that's like close to the border kind of things,
Apparently, I gotta get the frog glaze ready. I already hit up Loafman about it. I'm gonna go to hit up Goodwill, see if I can't get me a blender and go freeze some toads.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the perfect Ranella to hop across my yard because my little guy that I was keeping as a scenting frog, he died.
Oh, sad no.
Panda. Yep. So now I got to find another invasive.
Damn it, man.
You were scenting for the rinks?
Well, I wanted to raise up a toad just to have so that in the future when I do breed them, if I needed to scent, I had a toad to do it with. You know what I mean? And instead of just keeping a frozen one, I figured I'll keep a live one, grow them up, see how big I can get them. So
I ended up throwing away all of my feeder insect colonies because the grain mites had gotten so bad they weren't going anywhere. So yesterday I bit the bullet and threw away my last mealworm colony, and then wiped down my table top to bottom with like disinfectant wipes.
Well, dude, Billy gave me a whole nice starter pack of super worms, and I was going to try and breed them myself the way that he does. And dude, they just died in their cups.
Supers are a little more. They're not as easy as mealworms from what I understand. Mine didn't do very well either, but
yeah, but dude, Billy's killing it with them. I don't know how he's doing it.
Because it's Billy.
It is because it's Billy.
Yeah, Siggy asked, "Do you think Walmart frog legs would work
for the rinks?"
Yeah,
probably. It's not so much the meat, I don't think, as it is the skin. You know, most of anything that I've used for scenting, it's always been skin. Like even with the pyros, I used girdle tail lizard shed and wrapped a frozen thawed pinky in girdle tail lizard shed skin, and it worked. So I mean, I keep telling myself I'm going to buy frog legs to do with the rinks because I've done it before, and you know, you guys are on the frog leg bandwagon now, and I don't know.
They have a scent, like they definitely have a smell to them that's unique.
Plus, part of me wants to go out with some of my good old boys and go gigging myself because we used to do that every like February and March, and this year we just didn't. So I got to get back in that.
So you should probably put some snakeheads and use those for scenting.
Yeah, I have bad luck with them, but my roommate, he's like a pro snakehead hunter. And dude, he was going out like every night, and I think he just got sick of it. So now he does a lot of different other fishing. He started getting into fly reels and stuff. So I'll ask him if he grabs any snakeheads to maybe catch me one or two smaller ones and keep them. We'll freeze them.
How are the pyros doing?
They're doing great, man. They're doing great. They don't grow at all, but they eat like champs now, you know. And the one girl that was super duper troublesome, she just takes whatever I put in there. I have to drop feed it. I just drop it and walk away, and it's gone like 4 minutes later. So, and the Everglades Rat I got from Kazigi is doing fantastic. It's coloring up. It's actually getting some pink and orange in the sides of its neck and down the sides of its body, and it's nowhere near as bitey as it was when I first got it. So I'm not playing with it as much as I probably should, but I have a feeling it's going to be a great snake. I really do. So
those corns I got from them are freaking smoking.
Yeah,
dude, you got a lot of smoking corns right now.
Yeah, you do. And hey, I was going to ask you, your Abbott Okeetees that you got in Daytona, that was last Daytona?
Me?
Yeah.
I got those Jasper Counties from Dan Parker.
So you don't have an Abbott Okeetee?
No.
Oh, I thought you did. I thought you bought one at Daytona.
Mm-mm.
Damn, because I was going to say, mine is from that group, and I didn't know if you still had one.
No, I mean, I have... So the Jaspers are from Dan Parker. They're like line bred. And then I have a het sun-kissed male he comes from an Abbott blood, but I wouldn't say he's like Abbott. But I didn't get him at Daytona either.
Okay.
I wonder if you're thinking about the corns that Jake got, those smoking hot outcrosses.
Yeah, those are the buckskins.
Maybe. I remember he got buckskins. Maybe.
Yeah, because those were weren't they like super refined buckskins, and they were outcrossed to an Abbott, right?
I don't remember.
Or something like that. Those things were cool because he got the outcross, and then Middleton got just the straight line bred ones. I'm like, man, that's gonna be cool to see those down the road. How those can color up.
Yeah, I forgot Middleton had them. Yeah, he bought them before Jake did, I think, right?
No, Jake bought them first.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I saw the Abbott outcross, and I grabbed Jake Brotz by the ear, and I said, "Come here, buddy."
Yeah, the show of colubrids. Man, what a show!
That was a good show. That was a good fucking show. I'm gonna be sad if I can't go this year.
What do you mean if? Come on, man, you got plenty of time.
Well, I think it's just like I said, it's gonna be weird. So I'll have to work. If I get this job, my shift is third shift. Then I'll have to just like get off work, go to the airport, get on a plane, fly down that day, stay for the night, and then leave Sunday night.
It's doable, man. But did Justin just say me too?
No, I mean I'm planning to, but my employer is he has his moments.
Your employer is a terrorist.
Plenty of time to figure it out. Plenty of time.
I put it on the calendar already.
Good.
So I've been trying to plan ahead and make sure it's like well known.
Good.
My guess how the Pieds are doing. The Pieds are doing really well. I've had them together off and on. Male's been trying like hell. Female's been she's resisting. But I mean, other than that, they're doing great. Like they're eating fine. I'm not having any issues. So I definitely plan to be there at Daytona. I just, like I said, there's sometimes things happen. So I'm not guaranteeing it, but I'm at about 98% right now that it is going to happen. So.
Yeah, that was my thing. I was for sure gonna go there with my job I have now, but because it's a European company, so they're like, everybody should have 3 weeks of vacation no matter what, stuff like that. And this new company, they're like, nah, you get 1 week your first year, buddy. Don't mess this up. And I've already got a prepaid trip to Orlando in the summer for some like family fun, expensive shit. So I can't cancel that one. Costs too much money.
All right. We'll see what happens.
You all should come up for Tinley, though, because I will be at Tinley. That is going to happen.
There's just too much. There's too much stuff.
There is too much.
I gotta pick and choose what I can and can't do throughout the year because you also have family stuff and birthdays and things I have to be around for, and so like Daytona is pretty much the one that's the top of the list, and it's like anything else that can happen is a bonus as far as like reptile related stuff. So.
Yeah.
Daytona is the like take no prisoners. That's got to happen. End all be all. So
yeah.
Scott asked, which is the biggest herp show in the U.S. that will blow an Aussie's mind? I would think the October Tinley, no?
So
yeah.
I've never been, so I wouldn't know. So I would say either show.
So that's a hard one because I've been to both, and October Tinley is a blast. October Tinley has a bunch of vendors. October Tinley has a good spot because it's Daytona, but one step further. The hotel is also the convention center. So whenever you're done with the expo and they close it down, you go to the auction, you leave the auction, you go to the bar, and everybody sits there and has a beer, has a burger, has a great fucking night. But Daytona, man, Daytona was awesome because it was a big space. You weren't super crowded like you are in Tinley because it's not jam-packed full. But also, I went to... It's hard.
But you're also sweating just from the walk from the center to the hotel because it's August in Florida.
Yeah, that is true. I don't know. It depends on what you want. If you want a show that's just... I just about cut my thingy. If you want a show that is just herps, hurt people, everybody's doing their whole thing, and it's reptiles all shit, Tinley's a good one. Tinley's a really good one. In Tinley, you will see some off the wall stuff. But man, just because y'all are my friends, I kind of like Daytona a lot more. Granted, Daytona involves some shenanigans, as always. But man, I had a lot of fun. Granted, the second year I went to Daytona or to Tinley Park with Carly and Joe Phelan and the whole gang, that was a blast too. Matt Minatola had me crying, laughing multiple times.
I once had an employer get mad. I actually took days off that were scheduled months ahead of time. They said, don't let it happen again. So I said, okay, and quit.
Good one there. That's how you do it right there.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot the U.S. employment model is like beg us and lick the bottom of our shoes if you want a day off.
Right. So
you can pay us to go on vacation.
I think Scott's right. If you want to do herping, like if you were going to be an Aussie, come over here for a holiday and take 2 weeks off, dude. Imagine having a week off doing like a road trip from like northern Florida to South Florida, and then you like come back up to Daytona, hang out Daytona, and do like a little bit of like Central Florida stuff.
Yeah,
maybe go do some coastal playing and stuff like that. See
some Florida cassowaries. See what a real cassowary looks like.
Go find a monkey in the Central Florida.
Yeah, that would actually be a super cool trip. You know,
see sweet ass diamondbacks.
Gendra make a good point though, because they like the people and the weather. So I mean, if you're up in like the Tinley area and Chicago and stuff, you're probably gonna like Daytona more because it's not covered in snow.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. That is true.
So.
Yeah. Also, but here's the other thing too: is like, have any of us ever been to Pomona? See, I feel like because there's West Coast, East Coast, I feel like Pomona. I've never been. I feel like it's a bigger show.
It's the super show for a reason.
I know, but like nobody ever puts it in the running. It's always just Tinley and Daytona.
Well, that's because you got to think the reptile hobby is extremely, whether you like it or not, is very Midwest and East Coast. The West Coast, the West Coast is just like, I don't know. I feel like it's stepping into it, and there are some big guys in like the Southwest section, but like it's grown up, especially with apparently back in the day, like everybody was like coming up and hitting up like the Midwest shows like Columbus, Ohio, or the Steel City in Pittsburgh or Hamburg and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it was very East Coast and Midwest centric. So the West Coast, I wish I could go. I thought about it a couple times, like maybe going to California, but California, am I right?
Yeah.
It's very hard to. And I've heard that getting a room is expensive, renting a car is expensive. Just the show itself, it's like if you're going there, you're gonna spend a couple $1,000s.
Yeah, it's true. What's the room rate hookup in Tinley? Is there one or no?
I think there is one. I haven't looked yet this year. There's a couple hotels around there. There's the Holiday Inn, which I'm pretty sure at this point is booked out. That's the one that's attached to the convention center.
Okay.
I usually stay across the street at La Quinta. It's pretty cool. A lot of people go there. You get up in the morning, eat breakfast, and you just see U.S. Ark shirts everywhere. Nice. Everybody's all has their raccoon eyes, like sitting there eating their bagel, like, oh, I'm so hungover. I need carbs.
Excellent. The way it should be. I don't know, man. I'm stoked. I'm ready for Daytona. It's crazy. Like, we see each other once a year in some cases. You know, we talk all the time, but it's like all the friends converge, you know? And new faces, old faces. New reptiles, old reptiles.
Daddy Pain Shab's talking about going to Daytona this year, right?
Yeah, it's up in the air from what I gather in terms of how he's getting there, but from what I gather, he is coming. I think he wants to drive because it's only like 16 or 17 hours.
Only.
But he essentially loses a day in the beginning, loses a day at the end. But he can do whatever he wants. He can bring whatever he wants. He can bring back whatever he wants. You know what I mean? Yeah. And speaking of someone who used to do a 16-hour drive minimum twice a year, it's not that bad. It's not that big a deal. You know, just get some tunes, some podcasts, and just keep on trucking.
Yeah, that's true, I guess.
Now, then again, when I was doing it, gas was only, $1.50 a gallon, but I see that, Katie. I see
busted. Katie busted.
Visit us at any time. My parents miss you more than they miss me, and I live like 5 minutes up the street.
Well, the next National Monday holiday that I have off, I will come up on a Saturday night after work, and I'll stay through Monday.
Oh,
Jesus, you'd be getting here at like 3 a.m.
What do you want me to do?
I don't know.
Do it.
What are you talking about? He already does that.
All night. We'll just stay up all night.
My old ass can barely stay up past 1 at Daytona.
We'll stay up all night. We'll just drink bangs and look for nocturnal animals. We'll get some breakfast, take a nap.
They lose their efficacy.
I agree with that last comment right there. Need a big show in TN or Kentucky.
Screw San Florida.
You can hold me to it, Katie. I'm actually looking up how long it takes me to get from my house to your house right now.
It's got to be like 12 hours.
Yeah, I think it is 12. Let me see. No, it can't be 12.
What's the closest airport?
It takes me 12 hours to get to Raleigh.
Okay, 9.
Hey, Sasquatch, what's the closest airport to you?
Savannah.
Savannah. That's what I figured.
Savannah Hilton Head. It's a tiny airport.
Did people actually fly into there?
Yeah, that's where I went. I left for San Antonio through there.
Oh, okay, cool.
Dude, we were way off. If I leave right now, it'll be 6 hours and 56 minutes.
Oh, dude, that's nothing.
No way.
That's nothing.
That's nothing.
Look.
That's wild.
Make sure I don't show your address. Hold on.
I'd be terrified if people send me snakes. Please don't. Take my eyes, but not the snakes.
No, don't send me snakes. No. You all say that till Justin gets a stupid ass
email buff.
Yeah, right. Hey, I didn't talk to you about that.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't talk to you about that.
I forgot about it today.
I almost said something out loud, and I was like, "I'm gonna shut up."
My wife's watching. Shut up.
I know that's. I'm behaving. I'm behaving.
Yeah, the longest time in relation to distance is from Savannah to your house.
Really?
The rest of it's just straight up 95.
So you got to add 3 hours for Phil's excuses whenever he gets there.
Oh, burn.
I remember we were at Billy's. We were looking at the snakes and he goes, "Oh, Phil's on his way. He'll be here in an hour if he drives the right way. Probably 3 hours with excuses."
Well, it's funny. The last time I went to Billy's when I was meeting Casey there, I did it in the correct amount of time.
You didn't hit no trauma hawks or anything?
Dude, no trauma hawks, no jackknife trailers, no construction. It was just smooth sailing. I just did it, because dude, Highway 60 sucks, man. And it used to be where I could take 75 and it was like 50 or 60 miles farther, but less time. But now they're redoing this huge section of 75 in Fort Myers, and it's like one lane, one way. So, yeah.
Dude, that ain't lying. Kostiki says 95 is the American Autobahn. Yes, it is.
It really is, yeah. Well, once you get past Martin County, it's all patrolled by aircraft.
That's when you get passed by a Canadian in an RV pulling a Jeep behind it, going like mock Jesus Christ.
Nobody mailed me anything. Cox, your silence is worth a lot of money right now.
I seen a bunch of bush vipers and African software rats.
I do want ASFs, man. The more I see them, I'm like, Cannon's popping them out almost automatically, it seems.
Yeah, and he ain't feeding them off because they're too damn cute.
Dude,
that's because that boy's soft.
ASFs, man, he talks about them and then he's like, "Oh yeah, they got out again."
He's like, "They're horrible."
The Brettles ate 6 of them, and I'm like, "Oh no,
they got out again."
Remember Austin Warwick? I thought about that, but Austin Warwick talked about them on Joe's podcast one time, and I was like, "Man, they sound like little demons." Like he was talking about, he had to carry like a little piece of he said it was like a little 2-inch round. I can't think of the word, but 2-inch round wood. And he'd reach in there, and then they would jump out and try to bite him on the finger, and he'd whack him on the head to go back in the tub.
Those little dead black beady eyes.
I was like, oh my god, yeah, they sound terrible.
Like a doll's eyes.
Like a doll's eyes.
Black eyes, like a doll's eyes.
I feel you do that too good.
Yeah, I've had my Quinn moments. I'm trying to get the BlackBox pictures, but for whatever reason, my laptop's not communicating with my cell phone.
What BlackBox did you get?
I got a custom-made 3-foot sliding glass front with locking mechanism.
Need that.
Yeah, I basically gave them what I needed for, and this is going to sound cockamamie, but I needed cages for the Fields Vipers, the Rincals, and water pythons, excuse me. And it's perfect. It's going to do exactly what I want for all of them. So,
thank you.
Dan, Katie's throwing you under the bus.
She is.
All you saw was axles on that one.
It's my new mailing address.
All you saw was axles.
Care of the bottom of the bus.
All right. I'm trying to. This is not going to work. So I'm just going to message our group chat with the pictures because my laptop is being stupid.
Yeah, it happens. Those laptops for you.
Hey, there's Dom.
Hi, friends.
What's up, Dominique?
The not Kentuckian. Don't let Dominique DeFalco lie to you. Mitch McConnell is her senator.
Turtle
Man. Dude. Yeah, those BlackBox cages are looking pretty sweet. I keep watching your all's videos, and after my experience,
they are sweet.
After my experience at AP and my whole glass just falling out, yeah, I think I need to get me some of those. I'm trying to see. I want to get somebody to build me a 2x2x12, just for like stuff like corn snakes, rat snakes, stuff like that. Not my gray rats or my black rat, because those things, you give them a branch, they're going up it. I say that and I realize my gray rat just hides under its log 24/7. Some days I don't even know it's alive. I just drop feed a rodent and it just disappears into the abyss.
What am I looking at? God, I'm blind.
Phil's intense burning eyes.
I'm gonna pull them up right now. You don't gotta do anything. All right. So
so Phil got some of the new sliding fronts, which are basically the model that Phil got is like a new model or version of, I want to say, the XT3 or XT4.
Yep.
Yeah.
So basically, I wanted to have
Tuatars and tampons.
What is going on?
Tom said, I wanted Snakes and Stogies, where Kendra and I interview Katie, Anna Maria, Anita, and Kara. Call it Tuatars and tampons or something.
That's fantastic. I cannot wait to tell Anna Maria that.
No, there's too much blackmail. We have to stop that now. That idea is done.
We got it. It's going to happen in Daytona.
The male ego is too fragile for this. This cannot happen.
There's the Perry the Platypus video of me floating around out there. I have no shame anymore. I don't care.
This is good, man.
I'm impervious to this shit.
Don't make me pull it up, please. I will pull up the platypus video.
Show us the cage, damn it.
Hold on, I gotta get the platypus.
Well, do you have it favorited or something? Or you just pull it like that?
Dude, there's like 5 people that have it saved on their phones.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I was on one of my old phones until I broke all of them.
It's fantastic.
Oh my god. Katie said I'm down. Uh-oh.
That was 2 years ago, wasn't it?
That was 2 years ago.
Yes,
That was 2 years ago.
Oh man, 2 years.
That was when I first started being y'all's friend. It was like, come to Daytona at last minute. And I'm like, dude, I'm in Kentucky. That is not a very quick trip.
Okay. Hold on a second. Stop screen share. Share screen.
Phil doesn't want you to see the other videos I've sent him.
Oh, by the way, Justin, what's up with you? And you're like, oh, rhino rat snakes are superior. And then you're flaunting Barons racers all over the place.
I mean, rhino rats are superior. The Barons is awesome. I do not believe the Barons will top rhino rats for me. But I'm going to have more time with the Barons to really formulate a solid opinion. It's going to be a video at some point where I'm going to compare and contrast the two. But
I think that's kind of like how it was with rat snakes and corn snakes. I thought corn snakes were pretty cool, but I'm like, I just like rat snakes more. I
don't know, man. I love the rhinos.
Well, Justin, you're being spared because it won't download the video from the cloud.
Aw.
You have been spared, sir.
Uh-oh, Ty said she's down too.
Oh man.
Dude,
nice.
First off, that's got to be your own live stream for Modern Medusa. Okay.
Yeah, it should be. It should be.
Don't be using THN to make yourself famous, Dominique.
Secrets of the THN spouses A behind the scenes look.
All right.
It's
so
like as a Diane Sawyer, but it's just Dominic DeFalco.
Yeah.
So back to BlackBox, if we can. I was in correspondence with Jen, and I'm not used to having a enclosure this large shipped to me. And I assumed that it would be flat and I'd have to drill it together myself, which I was fully prepared for. And it is not. It came assembled, and it is one of, if not the best pack jobs I've ever seen. Now, don't get me wrong, like our good friend Sean Wagner, who made me my favorite rack of all time, his pack job was phenomenal. It just, there were some issues with the shipping provider, FedEx. Oh, sorry, not FedEx, and it got destroyed. But this pack job, I cannot tell you how awesome it was. So I only got one cage because I want to make sure that it was the right size and where I wanted to put stuff and kind of play Tetris in the room. But the box is huge and it barely fit in my vehicle. So I'm kind of glad I only got one of it one at a time. But this is me after initially opening it up. And I had to take a picture like this because it just shows the attention to detail. Because not only is it bubble wrapped on the outside, but there was individual corner pieces and panel pieces of dense styrofoam that was saran wrap or cellophaned around it. So if I go to the next photo, you can see how it was just perfectly packaged in there. And yeah, I was actually worried. What's that?
I was saying, those corner pieces are a lifesaver whenever you come to shipping stuff. You can put those little corner pieces on like a cage or rack. Man, it will protect that cage or rack so much.
Oh yeah. So I opened the top and I was like, how am I going to get this thing out? Because you can't, it's too big and I'm too short to slide it out the top. I figured, well, I don't want to
cut the box off of it.
So I just cut the box off of it. And there you can actually see the attention to detail in terms of how it was wrapped, how the cellophane, and what you're looking at right now is actually the if you're facing the cage, the left panel. And the ventilation holes are phenomenal because you have small pilot holes for cross breeze and you have those long lateral cuts in the corner. It just worked perfectly. So after I peeled the thing like a banana, then we saw the actual glass, and it's a very, very dense plexi. I don't know if it's acrylic or not, but I was shocked that they actually shipped it in the panes of glass in the actual cage, because I was like, man, that's so much flex and it's just going to crack. But the way that the glass fits in the track is
like reinforced,
flawless. So you can see here, I cut this side off, and this is the actual locking mechanism, which we'll talk about in a second.
A fan came inside of it.
Yes, it did. It came with its own fan. Right?
Came with a fan, sweet.
So these are the keys for the lock. And the lock is really, really cool because it doesn't stick on. It doesn't slide in. There's no little screw to keep it tight in there. Basically, it's key,
like the weird pin looking one. I've never seen anything like it. I was playing with it when we were at the Marietta show. I was like, I've never seen a lock and key like this before. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, absolutely awesome. So basically, the key is a pin itself, and it slides into the keyhole. And when you turn it, it unlocks the locking bar, and then the whole bar stays attached to the key, and you pull the key out. And I'll get better pictures of it later. I was so excited and trying to finagle this thing, I didn't think to take a picture of the key.
You felt like a schoolgirl again.
Literally giddy like a child.
So it's not the kind of like that. My AP,
no,
my AP rack has the key, and so its key is, if you look at it like this, so it'll go in one piece, and whenever you turn the lock, it kicks this back like that, so it keeps you from pulling it through the hole. But whenever you unlock it, it goes like that, and it pulls all through straight.
Yeah, the key itself is essentially the locking mechanism. And when you pull the key out, the whole core of the lock slides out and the glass can slide and move freely.
Yeah, cool. It's interesting.
Because that's one of my biggest problems with my AP cage is it's the room for error is so small because you're just using basically the key is the lock as well, but it's so fine of where it does that rotation is if there's any dirt or debris or God forbid you use cypress mulch, you have to like scratch it out, and then that way your cage can get to that, that give you that room so it can spin and lock. That's cool. I like that. It's good design.
Oh yeah. So if we notice here, you can actually see that there is a very, very good substrate dam. The thing seems as if it's seamless. Obviously, it's not, but the substrate dam is so smooth and rounded that I feel confident putting at least 3, maybe 4 inches of substrate comfortably without having any spill out. And then at the same time, I'll try and zoom in on some of this.
Well, that's not even the bio model either, right?
Right. Yeah, it's not the bio. It's just a normal cage.
So they do another version of this cage where there's a front lip that's, I want to say 5.5 inches.
Yeah, I think it is 5.5.
Yeah. And it's made to accommodate more substrate layers like that. So that is an option. That's like standard right there that you're looking at. And I'm going to be all salesy with this stuff because
that's not the
kind of my job
model?
with them. But no, that's not.
Okay.
At least it doesn't look like it to me, but it could be the angle.
So when I first opened it, before I zoom in on the glass and the track and everything, when I first opened it, I saw that there was this black panel up here, and there were like these tracks carved into it. And I was like, oh, cool. It's got, cord, mitigation, technology machined into it. No. This entire panel is a form fit lid that goes over an entire screen top.
Oh, nice.
So it actually has like a perforation on the inside. I'm imagining that's if I wanted to cut it, I could and cut it to shape to fit whatever. But I like it because I can have an entirely open top, or if I want to seal it in and really maximize humidity or whatever, I can just put the lid back on. Don't mind my flashlight. I just stuck it there so you can kind of see inside the cage. But if we notice here, you have little handles which protrude just enough for a snake hook to loop onto it and slide, which I thought was fantastic. There looks like they're screwed in and maybe some kind of adhesive. But if you'll notice here, see how this is just like silver here, this gray area? This is actually a track stop. So this outside pane of glass stops on this track stop before it hits the handle, which I thought was genius. Because I can't tell you how many times I've had a cage like this with some kind of plastic knob or plastic, handle, and I go to slide the glass open real quick, and it smacks it and cracks it and breaks it.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that they thought to put a track stop in, I think is just
I just like the fact that it's sandwiched in there. Like you don't have to open track to where things can easily get in there. They're like that glass, like what you see on the front of that glass is also on the back of that glass. It's not just a slight like half-inch little lip behind it, keeping stuff out of the track. Like your odds of getting crap stuck in that track are much slimmer, that way than, like a Neo or something.
Yeah, so I'm very, very impressed. I can't wait to get more of them. They've got me. They've got me as a user, got me as a customer. I was going to set this one up as in a simple setup with just newspaper, hide cave, water bowl, that kind of thing. And I decided let me wait. I'm really going to do it up nice. So I've got a bunch of foam that I got to cut. I have Nipper's going to bless me with some landscape photos for backgrounds. And I'm going to do this one nice. I'm going to do them all nice. So,
you're not going to hand paint them like they did at KRZ?
No, I wish I was
zebra in the back. Put a zebra in the background.
I wish I was that talented.
And the nice thing too is these are all stackable as well, and they come with little metal pins that the cage on top sits into, and that just keeps them from shifting around. And they're racked from the same way.
Another question with these is, so for example, I haven't seen it in a very long time, but I thought it was a cool system. Don't know if maybe somebody with engineering experience can tell me if it's a bad idea or not. I want to say maybe it was Bowmaster back in the day used to make cages where they would put, you could get, I think it was like a 6-inch spacer in them that locked into a pin system just like that. That way you could fit your UV lights in there or anything. You couldn't fit a heat lamp in there because just the height, and you'd be like too close. But the UV lamps, they would slide in there that we could get in there and turn them on and shit like that.
I'm confused as to what you're asking about.
He's saying that the pin pieces to interlock the top cage to the bottom cage, do they or will they be making little legs that
to lift it up some? I got you.
So you can slide a
like
fluorescent strip.
I mean, I'm sure that could easily be done. It'd just be a matter of making sure it can hold, the weight and the surface area and stuff is all where it needs to be. But I
Like I said, I have not seen it in years. And then again, I think it was Boa Master did it with their big ass melamine cages back in the day.
Yeah, I believe it. And Billy Jenkins asked, "Can you remove the glass?" I thought you could. I have not tried, but it definitely looks like it is 100% removable. I can't imagine them doing it where it wasn't. So,
yeah,
they should be. They should be.
Yeah, and I'm very, very happy, man. I'm super smitten with it, legit. And I'm the pack job really did it for me. That was like,
and that's the nice thing too is like their XT3s, any of the cubes. I don't know that the XT4s do. I'd have to double check, but they all ship assembled, like ready to go. Like plug it in, fill it up, put your animal in. You're good to go. So.
Yeah, and I tell you this though, just touching the actual PVC itself, there's so many of these PVC enclosures out there right now that have what I would call a soft plastic, where if you took your fingernail and you drew your name in your fingernail, it would actually like carve into the plastic. This is not the case. This is a very smooth, very smooth yet very dense.
It's much they buy much more dense PVC. It's not stuff. I guess with cheaper PVCs, it's filled with air a lot. Like there's a higher air ratio in when it gets made or like molded or whatever. This is not. I mean, it's even on their smaller stuff like this. That's still 1/2-inch PVC. Yeah. And then on like the 6-foot models and the bigger models, it's 3/4-inch PVC. So like they don't skimp. And yeah, the price of PVC keeps going up and all that. It's still, I mean, these things are gonna last forever. They're really like build quality wise. I think they're very hard to beat. Yeah, and I say that both biased and unbiased.
Yeah, I will say this. I'm as smitten as I am. One thing that I may ask for in the future is the ventilation holes and slots are, I don't know if it's maybe a 1/2-inch or 1/4-inch, but they are way too big for a live bearing animal.
Yeah, there's options there. Like they have two different thicknesses.
Yeah, and I think that, like, for example, like when I do breed the rinks, I have visions. Mom's going to go in those. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just because of that factor and glass and tightness and all that. But I can definitely see someone getting something like an Amazon tree boa and putting it in this exact cage because it has such good height. And all those babies are just going to go right out those holes. So be mindful as to what species you're putting in there.
There is a thinner ventilation cut.
Okay.
There's 2 different sizes they do, and I'm sure they could even change it up if they needed to. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. They are fairly large.
Man, you just brought back a memory. I remember reading on, I think it was Fauna back in the day. Was it Bill Hughes? Was he the one who did all the emeralds out in Vegas?
Yep.
Okay, I think he did a Candoya back in the day, and he did one and lost, and so he had his Candoya and it bred, and her litter just escaped. So he was just herping in his room for days on end trying to find these Candoya babies that were just sitting around his room.
That's a lot of worms.
Well, that was it. Terry who had the diamonds get loose in the garage.
Poor Terry.
Is that who it was?
Yeah, it was Terry. Yeah, he was herping for diamond pythons in his garage. Yeah. Those little worms.
Yeah, but we always say, like, we want to love the companies that sponsor us. Mm-hmm. And dude, I'm falling in love, man. BlackBox is hitting it out of the park, man.
That's. I think you all told me that's gonna be my next purchase.
Yeah.
I gotta get some more cages. I gotta get my Brettles in some cages. I gotta get. I want to get a little cage for my ball python just for her to live her life with me.
Yeah.
And I think BlackBox is going to be the way to go because they have some really cool enclosures. They have a lot of sizes. The Bio line looks pretty solid.
Mm-hmm. How far are you from Casey?
From Casey, I'm probably 5-6 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in like the general southeast region of the states, you can go and pick up from their facility where they build everything, and you can save a metric ton on shipping, and you don't have to worry about FedEx destroying your stuff. So.
If they go to Tinley, I will. Yeah. They make it up there.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna put the money into buying them and stuff, you want to save yourself a couple $100 on shipping and whatnot and freight, then just make the trip down there. And I think it's even with gas prices right now, it's still cheaper to just drive and pick them up. Me and Jake do that. I mean, granted, it's only like a 4-hour drive for us, but still, it's just we just make a weekend of it. We just rented a U-Haul and rode up there, grabbed our stuff, and came back. So
yeah, little micro adventure.
That's what I'm, because I've looked into that because Kara's getting her Bronco soon, so it'd be a whole lot easier for that. Because it's 6 hours 15 minutes for me to Casey, but
they're in his general area, like they're in Buford.
That's what I figured.
Yep.
Yeah, I will say, just you talking about, excuse me, Brettles or a ball python, like this is a 3-foot cage with good height. I would feel comfortable keeping a male Brettles in here for a long time.
Yeah,
and definitely a ball python, 100%.
Is that the 4-foot or 3-foot?
This is a 3-foot.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact height and the exact depth. I think it's 3 2
by
3 2 2.
Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna pan out great. I'm really, really excited.
Yeah, I think the Ackies upgraded to something. I think I'm gonna either do a 3-foot or 4-foot for them soon. They're getting bigger. They're outgrowing that cage now quick.
Yeah, dude, this would be awesome for Ackies if you built up the back with like rock ledges and stuff, and you don't give them a reason to come to the front per se. You know what I mean? Dude, this would be a phenomenal cage for that. And obviously I'm stuck in my ways about front opening, front sliding. Like that's just how I grew up. That's how I was trained. That's what I like. That's what I love. And dude, they hit it out of the park. They did.
Yeah, and I mean they're like, I see all the messages and stuff we get. Like we do listen to people when they come. Like Jeff and Kendra, we got a handful of people that messaged about sliders. Because everything else they've done so far has been just swing doors, either swing out or swing down, depending on which model you got. But if the demand's there and there's enough people wanting it, because very much like that's the only reason they don't do custom work is because to design something like that, you have to go in the CAD that they use for their CNC and stuff and completely design something from scratch. And so obviously if you're doing custom stuff, you're having to design an entirely new cage every time someone wants something like that. So we really try our best to find something that fits the needs of as many people as possible. That's sort of where we're at. We're trying to get an arboreal rack together. That's been something I've been helping out with the design stuff. So we're listening to the needs of the people, and
it's growing, man. So it's doing great. And I know Henry makes a comment, he's got crates coming in his future, and he's definitely going to have BlackBox do their enclosures. So
ooh, nice.
Yeah.
And now on some of their longer models too, I want to say the 4-foot and up, you can get a divider, like a removable divider in them too. So.
Very cool.
Did you get lights in that one or no? Like, did you get an LED?
There's no cords or nothing. So if it is, it's I don't know what I'm looking at, but I didn't see any now. It's just normal screen top. And I told her don't worry about the lights because I don't know exactly what animal's going in them just yet. Mm-hmm. So I got to figure out, I got to move stuff around. I really do. Because the Fuscus need a new home like yesterday. And I would like to upgrade the rinks, but they're kind of happy living where they are right now. So I may just leave them alone for a little bit. And then the only other ones that I really need cages for were Fields Vipers. And they're not growing as fast as I thought they would. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll set the Fuscus up first, give them a bigger home, and then start building the pretty stuff for the Vipers. Go from there. But yeah, man.
Oh, there you go. Dragon Lair, I'm an hour and a half away. I need 2 2x2x4 vertical cages from them.
Perfect.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and it's cool seeing their operation and stuff. Me and Jake going there recently. That's the second time I've been to their sort of warehouse space that they have, and it's freaking cool, man. Like seeing everything getting made, and the CNCs sort of, they have a newer CNC machine that literally you just tell it to go and it goes and changes all the drill bit heads and stuff and like does it all by itself. It's like fully automated. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. See it all cut and robots and awesome.
That stuff's insane.
Yeah, it's wild. Like it
CNCs.
literally, it'll do some, and then it'll go and take the little duster piece off. It puts it in like a rest, and then it lifts up. It goes and changes the drill bit, and then goes back to the duster thing, picks it back up, goes and cuts what it needs to, and then it'll do that as many times as it needs to. It's wild.
That was something with the new job of seeing those CNC machines. Like I've seen people like in the past build racks and cages for us, like harpers and stuff. And it was like it was pretty, cool. BlackBox sounds like they have probably the most advanced setup out of anybody. But then
that's like their newer one. Like their older one, it's you have to be there and like change the bits and do it all yourself. And it's smaller than the new one. But Jen said that thing was a freaking lifesaver. Like it's so nice to not have to babysit it basically the entire time. You put on the material and you tell it to go, and it goes, and then you can go do something else while it's working on that, and it's just sounds like it was worth every penny. So
yeah, that's pretty awesome, man. That's pretty awesome.
Oh, all kinds of people in the chat tonight. Dang.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. People are popping off in the chat.
What's Grantham always say? You and Dom should do the road trip.
Man, I would love to do a road trip. It just I gotta get settled into this new job, see how things work out, what would be the best way to run things, and then I'll be free to go then. It's just gotta get it all figured out first. I've seen a boreal.
That's my rhinos, dude. I have one of the male rhinos. He lives on his little manzanita perch. His name's Amsterdam, and every morning I walk in and turn on the lights, and he's sitting there hanging out. And when I come home from work, he's sitting there hanging out. Like he just chills right on his perch all day. The female lives in her water bowl, and then the other male, he kind of spends his time between the cork bark tube and the water bowl. And yeah, it's funny.
Oh man,
I have a feeling that Barron's Racer is going to go into the other empty bio-G I have faster than I think it will.
All right.
And that'll be nice too to have that sort of decked out the same way. I need to get more of those perches.
And speaking of perches, so I got those 2 baby anery subocs at the West Palm show a few months back. And dude, I had extra ones from Brahms that were with my pop ones, and I was like, you know what? Let me put it in the subocs. And the girl wound up passing away. She's a baby. It happens. But the male, dude, he lives on these perches. Or perch, I should say. Oh, why is it doing this? This is the same thing it was doing with the video earlier.
I think it's something to do with my connection because y'all are lagging out every now and then too for me.
Let me send it to myself again. Hold on.
Dude, these blonde subocs are dope looking. God, there's some bug guys though.
Oh yeah, that Wild Rose Pass pair of mine. They should be of size and age this time next year. I'm gonna cool them this year, and then they should be good to go spring of 2023. So, Billy, if you want to pop one, talk to Jake. He's got some. Yeah, that's right. Jake Bratz has some males for sale. If you want to pop one, Billy, just talk to him.
He does have some smoking hot pop ones. My boy Johnny Boone from him, he is cool. I was playing him today earlier when I got home. And I'm like, man, I forget how good he looks every time I pull him out.
So I just sent pictures, some Phil's baby snake updates, because babies are way easier to take pictures of,
I think you are looking, Billy. Don't have one yet.
So this picture is super fascinating to me. So when we switch daylight savings time, obviously we're waking up at a different time. And I never noticed this, but now I find myself waking up earlier so I can catch it. So this is my female Egyptian cat-eyed snake periscoping up against the front of the tub every morning.
Look at those shims.
Look at those shims. But I'd never seen this because the male doesn't do this at all. But the female, every morning, like right at like 7:10, comes out and just stands there staring at the ceiling. No idea why, but I thought it was fascinating. I don't know if it's a hunting thing. I don't know if she's waiting for the morning dew to collect on her body, but absolutely fascinating to me. A species that I'd never known to periscope. I mean, ever. So, and then that's Mike Kosicki's Everglades.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, right?
Nice.
Thing's growing. It's getting that nice white face on it. It's looking good. Definitely tell it's gonna be an Everglades, so to speak. All right. And there's that female pyro. Just loving life in her toilet paper tube. And this is an unedited photo. That's just cell phone flash, and dude, crazy color. Love it. Absolutely love it. But going back to those Brahms perches, there we go. So that snake lives on top of those perches.
Look at that little guy.
I know, right? Who's better than him? Specialty Enclosure Designs perch, little frozen thawed pinky. Life is good.
Yeah, I need some 3D printed goodness from him.
Yeah, man. The best of the best. So, like, just because you don't have a chondro, just because you don't have an Amazon tree boa, it doesn't mean that you can't get some Specialty Enclosure Designs perches to just, better the surface area of the inside of your tub. I mean, this isn't a tub. It's not like this is in some, PVC enclosure or anything. This is a plastic tub. And I wanted to maximize the space.
Space efficiency.
Space efficiency, man. And it's so funny because he knows, like, he just sits there on top waiting for something to walk by, and I come in with that pinky and wham, savage.
Yeah, those little bug-eyed bastards they don't joke around when it comes to food.
They don't. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again, is I've had really bad luck with subox, and I thought maybe it just might be me, and I think I just got bad animals. Sorry to say it, but this guy is really, reassuring my fascination with the species. So
they're really cool snakes. I love their little big eyes. Every time I see a baby for some morph market, I'm like, man, whew. I'm like, that thing can see into the future. Those things.
It's like a full 180-degree field of vision.
Right, they see all.
Their entire field of view just looks like a giant fisheye lens.
Dude, rattlesnakes are so crazy.
It's funny is too. I feel like when I look at their shed, it doesn't look like a big eye. It just looks like a normal rat snake shed.
I'd never noticed that, but
yeah, I mean, maybe it's just my observation of it. But Dominique says she's going to bed, but always fun to chat. T-minus 137 days before Daytona.
Feels like so far away.
It doesn't, man. I feel like it's going to sneak up and slap us.
It always does. It always does.
So
I'm hoping I'll have plenty of clutches and babies to occupy my time between now and then. So
plenty of babies to offload.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Any eggs yet?
No, my Ladies Island female's definitely gravid. I palpated some of the other females the other day to see if there was anything, and there's nothing feels as concrete as that one female in terms of positively has something in the works, but we'll see. I checked the Loma Alta female yesterday and didn't feel anything substantial. The blood red looked like maybe she might have something happening. I don't she's kind of spazzy. I don't really mess with her a whole lot, but I need to check her too. I need to see how much longer those have in quarantine too, actually, now that I think about it. The days just blur together. It's like I blink and it's like, oh, it's been 3 months already.
Nice.
Come on out.
Ackies are good.
Hurry up and wait.
Ackies are doing really good. I'm pretty mad at myself because I went to PetSmart this morning and got some wax worms for them since I threw away all my bugs.
You literally are reading my mind, bro. Keep going.
And I left him at work when I got home. I got out of my car and was like, damn it. So
they're in the refrigerator, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna have some moths.
Not yet.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because I wanted to put some more weight on the knobtails, and I had tried waxworms in the past, and it failed. They don't care. They don't want them. But I see all these other guys all over Instagram feeding their knobtails waxworms, and I'm like, what's wrong with my geckos? So I said, you know what? Let me do it this way. Let me make sure I get nice, big, plump ones, and I'm going to get the little feeder dishes, little ceramic feeder dishes. I'll bury the feeder dish in the sand, throw the waxworms in there. Couldn't be easier, right? So 3 of the breeder females ate 3 worms each that I could see. And I sifted through the sand to make sure. But the one female that needs the weight put on, needs the extra, goods, literally the dish full. Just full. Of course. It's like, man.
I wonder if it's like with cresteds though, because when I had crested babies trying to get them onto roaches, you had to split the roach open a little bit and then rub some of the goo on their their nose so that they'd lick it. It was as soon as they licked it, they were like, oh wait, that's food. And then they'd be all about it. Okay. So it didn't take long. I think it's just, for me at least, it seemed like it was just making them realize that is food, it's sort of associating that scent of the roach and that flavor of the roach with the roach. So it may be worth trying that with those guys. I don't know, but
yeah,
those waxworms, man, if you want something to add weight, those things are freaking loaded. I like to feed them to the Aggies. I don't feed them a lot to the Ackies, but I also don't feed the Ackies a ton either, so it kind of makes up for it. But I tried to raise my own for a little while too, and I need to sort of regroup and come up with a new strategy for that because I struggled with mine.
Yeah, I think that I'm gonna keep trying, and maybe I'll do what you said and kind of squeeze one out a little bit. I gotta get those plastic tweezers because all of my stuff is surgical steel, and I feel like it's not conducive for hand feeding insects. But yeah, I hadn't done it, and it's crazy you said waxworms, man, because dude, I haven't thought about waxworms in years, and I was like, you know what? Let me get a couple of them, see how this goes. So
yeah, I think it's just maybe that female not realizing that she's supposed to eat them. Because you think about it when they you get them from PetSmart or whatever, they come in a cup of some sort of mulch, I guess, kind of substance. So they probably don't smell a whole lot like food, I would imagine, at least in theory.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just making them realize this is association.
Yeah, maybe.
And the Ackies don't care because they move. And if it moves and it's small, it's food. So they're gonna, they're gonna plow through it regardless.
Little velociraptors.
Yeah, 100%. That's good, man. That's good. Cox, do you have anything with legs?
I have one leopard gecko that's 13 or 14 years old.
Cool. Good stuff.
Yeah, it's
R.I.P. to the Alterna too, by the way, buddy. He had a good run.
So I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna go on to this right now. I'm thinking about getting him skeleton articulated.
That would be cool. I know people think that's weird, but I actually think it's kind of a cool way to immortalize an animal in a way, especially if it was something of sentimental value. I talked to Katie about it, and she kind of is like, "That's weird. Why would you do that?" And I'm like, "Well, it's
yeah, but it's not the same as a dog or a cat,
right?" I could see I got the skull of my dog preserved and it sits on my bookshelf. That is a little bizarre.
That's weird. Yeah, that's like the stuffed dog in the show Scrubs.
Oh, God. Rowdy, no, bad Rowdy.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
Yeah, no, it's I've been looking at it online trying to figure out if I can find somebody near me who'll do it because I don't want to like, dude, I'm not trying to ship it or anything.
Well, there's a guy in Tampa that does phenomenal work, like on pedestals with decor under glass dome, if you want, and his shipping is supposed to be flawless. So give it a whirl.
A lot of dry ice.
A lot of dry ice. But you know, I've looked at that a lot, like because he's still hanging out in the freezer. God, that damn snake had the nerve to die on the heat tape.
Oh,
he was old, man. Give him a break.
I know, old geriatric. And it's funny. It's weird that he took one last meal. That 2 weeks before he ate those couple chicken hearts and that pinky.
He said, "Goodbye, friend."
He's like, yep, that's about it. I'm like, I want like, does he even have any teeth in his head anymore? Like, I didn't know. And
how old was he?
We're not even sure. So this is a gray band I sent him. That it was a male, and he was pretty old. I mean, I don't think he was like in his 20s or anything like that, but he was up there like double digits, I would think, easy. And so I was like, Cox wanted a gray band, so I was like, hey, I got this older guy. You know, if you want him, he's kind of weird with food. He doesn't seem to want to put on weight. He kind of eats sporadically. He's just old, man. So I was like, if you want him, you can have him. I'll send him to you. And Cox took him, and that's been like what, at least a year?
Yeah, about a year or so now.
And he kicked the bucket, went out like a champ.
He had a pretty good little last round, I think. He got a couple people over their fear of snakes, so
he was good for that. Yeah, he was not a fast moving snake. He's just he was just tired.
His work is done.
There were so many days I'd pull the rack open, I'd look at him, and I go, "Oh fuck, is he dead?" And I'd poke him, and he'd be like,
like the old dog and Family Guy with the old man.
Dude, it's everything.
Jesse.
I'm like, what are you doing, bud? And he's like, guess who? And I'm like, oh shit.
Come on, Jesse.
Want you some chicken gizzards?
You do need gray bands. Gray bands are awesome. Getting babies to eat is not awesome, but gray bands, once they're eating, are awesome. By far the hardest snakes I've ever had to get going, without a doubt.
I got to find, I think I've mentioned this before. I don't know if it was on the show or not, but I have 2 captive bred baby boom slangs.
Oh, God.
In my freezer. And I want to make them into rocks glasses. But I don't know how to go about that. Because everything that I've read is that you'd have to make like a sealed thing of formaldehyde, but like I was thinking like maybe acrylic. You know what I mean?
Like those resins that you see people doing.
Yeah, like they do like the bugs, and scorpions, and stuff in the resins. I thought about doing something like that, but this has got bioactivity inside it, while there's the bugs is like
you'd have to like inject them with alcohol or something to preserve them.
Yeah, but that's what I got to figure out. If anybody knows how to do that, let me know.
You got to embalm your boom slang and remove its venom and shit like that.
They're so tiny. They're literally like basically the length of 2 cigarettes.
Oh my god,
they're like that big. I mean, like that big. So tiny, adorable, full color, sad.
So, yeah, Chris is breeding some gray bands. I sent him; those were really nice ones too.
Man, when baby snakes roll and like little things like that, man, it pisses you off so bad. Cause you're like, what did I do wrong? And sometimes you just didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, some of them just weren't meant to be.
Dude, it's the famous veiled chameleon thing. That's why Mom had 60 eggs, because most of them aren't going to make it. As sad as it is.
Yeah, that's what that sulfur corn. Because I got that A-male buff. It was I got him because I bought a yearling sulfur from Joe, and he was getting out and everything. So it was like, I just was like, okay, you know what? I want some corn snakes from my buddy who that was his thing. So I got the sulfur, and he sent me the A-male with her, and she just rolled one day, and she regurgitated a couple times. I was like, oh fuck, man, is it crypto? So that's when I went through not that long ago and tested my stuff for crypto and everything. And I was like, everything came back clean. And they're just like, sometimes that shit just happened.
Yeah, I don't see. That's kind of been my experience with the Bairds. Is if you have some that regurge, and you try to feed them again, and they regurge, and you try to feed them again, and they regurge. It doesn't even necessarily have to be crypto. It just seems to really
just destroys their GI tract.
I mean, it just like some of them I've had some over the years they didn't come back. They deteriorated from there, and it just seems like they're sensitive to regurg like that. And it's like, unless you just flat out don't feed them for a minimum of a month, they're just going to continue to struggle, and it's, like I said, I don't think it's like crypto. They just seem, in terms of like other Pantherophis, they seem oddly sensitive to that kind of thing. And like larger meals, I've noticed, like they don't, especially babies, like larger meals do not seem to jive with them very well. So now I tend to try and go a little smaller, or something that's of the appropriate size, but definitely not anything like, I don't like to push them. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and that's I'm going through that right now with my Eastern my AML Eastern rat that I got from Most. It's like he could probably take a fuzzy, but I'm like, dude, I just give him a couple pinkies at a time. I give him 2-3 pinkies and just let him work those down, sit on his heat for a couple days. I mean, they're not the most nutritionally sound meal, and he's definitely way behind, because my gray rats, whenever they were that size, when I got them from Joe, dude, the biggest bump I ever got was I took a frog leg I bought from Kroger, and just the bottom calf, you know how your frog legs are like that thigh, that calf?
Yeah.
I just snipped off the calf with some kitchen shears and put it in there with some mouse fur on it, and they ate it down. I stopped for a second because it was huge in them. I was like, oh God, I just fucking killed both these snakes. But that calcium from that big old just bone in there, I'm telling you, I'm like, they start growing so fast. Whoa, neighbor's getting pulled over. But man, that calcium, that's why I think baby colubrids really do well with a little bit of calcium dusting. Not regularly. Don't do it all the time.
Right.
But every now and then I'll just take like a little bit of just some bullshit Zoom Ed calcium and just sprinkle on the head of a pinky and feed it something. And I think they just do a lot better. I
think you could go one step further and do like Pangea. That's what Brahms did with some of his baby chondros to give them a boost, because that's a complete diet. That's got all the minerals and supplements and stuff in the right ratios, and the added, if you get like the red label, which has the BSF ground up in it as well, which is like waxworm level, fat and proteins and stuff. I'm interested. I would like to try that myself at some point, and see if you get like one of a runty individual in a clutch and see if that sort of helps boost them. Everything David's talked about is like anecdotal, but it sounds like it seemed to make a difference for him.
And the cutting also helps a lot. The cutting them out, because whenever I did it with the Eastern hog, dude, his growth has just exploded. Like, I'm not kidding you. That thing, he's taking rat
crazy.
Dude, I started doing that thing where I would cut the top between the eyes. I would cut there. I would cut one time on the rump, or maybe like on a thigh on the side. And dude, his growth just exploded, because I heard a lot of people say Eastern hogs, if you get them to lag in growth, that's when they start wanting to go back to frogs.
Yeah, they kind of flounder.
If you just keep them going with rodents and you keep their growth just going, he's an amazing snake. One of my favorites, honestly. But it's crazy. Whenever I started doing that, he just started. I mean, every other day, I was like, man, he's in shed again. He's in shed again. His eyes are blue again.
I wanna recreate that study badly, and I tell myself, at least the last couple clutches of stuff I've had, that I'm gonna do it, and I haven't, mostly because of time, and now I have to weigh everything once a week, and I do at some point legitimately want to dedicate like a clutch, be it bears or corns. Something slightly smaller would be nice. That way I'm not doing 30 animals.
Yeah.
But I think whatever I do, the results will probably be similar to what was done the first time with the cutting and the growth rates and stuff like that. I did that with cresteds. You noticed, like, when I was getting stuff switched over to roaches, I would weigh them all every week. And the ones that started taking roaches, I mean, it was like their growth just went 90 degrees, like unbelievable. I have old pictures of it on my Instagram. I'll have to dig up and show, but like, you saw the point where they started eating roaches, and it just immediately like skyrocket. Like, they would kind of coast and sort of be flat the entire time when they were on diet. And as soon as roaches came into the picture, they just exploded. And
that's something that a lot of people don't talk about. I've noticed that with fish a lot. If you have a batch of fry from some guppies, and you're just feeding them straight, just like if you're taking your fish flake, you're doing this with it in your hand to feed your fry, then they'll grow. They'll get you'll get a little bit. But if you go and you get like a fluval, they make a food with black soldier fly larvae in it.
Yeah.
Really?
You do that stuff, and they start growing like that. And I've even taken there's a thing called Vibra Bites. I think they're more heavy on krill than fish meal in it. And I'll take that and I'll put it in a sandwich bag and I'll just whack it with a wine bottle, get it to a fine powder. I'll feed those to fry. Dude, I think that's really big on, like we always talk about, the bone density, keratin, stuff like that really causes a big growth rate, because we're not just feeding them a sack of water, maybe some tissue, a little bit of fat. I think it helps out a lot.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I find that just that aspect of it and feeding and stuff. What is there that we don't know? If something as simple as cutting makes that big of a difference, what else are we not doing that could make a giant difference? And even if it's, coating the one end of a mouse in Pangea or something, or if we're just mixing it up with water and injecting a little bit into food, like that would be a whole nother separate sort of home experiment to try out and see what happens. Because I think even with the Pangea, I mean, you're looking. I don't think you'd need a lot really to get the job done. I mean, the biggest concern for me with that stuff, and like you were saying with the calcium powder, is
overdoing it.
Toxicity from something, be it calcium or any one of the vitamins. But you think also how tiny baby cresteds are. If they can handle Pangea, I'm sure pretty much any snake of any, especially neonates, could probably handle it no problem too. I mean, I think realistically the liver and kidneys of a baby corn are probably the same size, if not a little bigger than a baby crested. And if those are handling it, then I would assume maybe a snake probably would too.
Yeah.
My only concern with that is that you have an animal that is designed to eat plant-based material and those sugars and the fruit and that kind of stuff and nectar, and then you have a strictly carnivorous animal. I wonder if an overabundance of that might mess up their GI a little bit.
I mean,
I would also think you're looking at the gut content of a mouse, though.
I was gonna say the same. I think you're definitely looking into that, but also at the same time, I'm not saying you should do that every feeding. Like if you're feeding, like Doc Lopeman talks about with dipsadids, you see him talk about some of them have to eat 3 times a week.
Yeah,
I'm not saying put
Oh.
No. I'll cut every meal because that's not.
Yeah, no. I'm not talking about cutting. I'm just talking about
100%. Yeah, 100% doing that. I wouldn't do that every meal. He gone.
Uh-oh. But yeah, I think what he was trying to say is that if you're feeding a dipsadid 3 times a week, you're not doing it for all 3 feedings. You're doing it for one of the 3, and it's just to get the ball rolling in the first 6 months, say.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
There he is.
Yeah.
He's messing with us.
Vanished. Yeah. And I definitely think that who was it? Somebody was recently doing Reptile links with the fruit mixed in it, the Tegu blend. Who was doing that?
I don't remember who that was.
Did you see that too, where the corn snakes were eating those?
Mm-mm.
Oh God, who was doing that on Instagram?
I remember we were talking about it not that long ago, I think, but.
Yeah, Scott says, do not discount secondary digestion, Phil. Every wild meal can have a secondary digestion elements. And yeah, that's what Smitty was saying, is that, the rodent is eating the fruits and the berries and whatever else and the grains, and therefore the snake's eating it. So yeah, that's a good point. It's a great point. Yeah, even lizards. If you have a lizard eating a snake, the lizard's eating a bug that was eating a plant. So yeah, that makes sense.
That's why I take what me and Jake feed the mice pretty seriously. They don't get just one thing. They get. I've been like Honey Nut Cheerios, not the honey, but just regular Cheerios. I've been doing that. They freaking love those. That's a nice sort of addition to the rotation. They get haze, and we don't do the rodent block anymore because the local supplier of that stopped selling it. So now I went through and found the highest quality dog food I could, because that's pretty much our only option at this point, unless we pay out the nose for Missouri, which I don't even think Missouri was as good as the Flint River, the FMR stuff we were using before. So I don't know. I mean, you can't. I think like I'm not into feeding dog food for feeders, but there are enough sort of higher quality foods now. And if you read the ingredient label, and it's not full of just nothing but different sorts of meals,
Yeah.
You know, like what we've been feeding them is like the number one ingredients, like regular, just salmon, you know, and it's got a lot of extra vitamins and other stuff in it. So
nice. Have you thought about just going to, I mean, I don't want to say Whole Foods because that would be really expensive, but going to something like that where you can make your own mixes and grains, and, you know, you're buying a 10-pound bag of flaxseed and a 10-pound bag of corn, a 10-pound, you know what I mean? And you just mix your own.
We were buying, and for whatever reason we haven't been lately, but we would get like a Royal Wing they sell that at Tractor Supply. It's a birdseed blend, but it's got like mealworms and dried fruits and sunflower and
nice.
a bunch of different other kinds of nut mixes, and they go crazy for that too.
Yeah, but would it be more cost effective to mix your own?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I think like a 5-pound bag of that stuff is like $12, and you can get a 15-pound bag for like $20.
Okay.
And like one of those 5-pound bags or 5.5-pound bags will last us a while. You know, we'll go through maybe one of those a month, maybe, because we're not giving them a ton of it. You know, they're getting a nice big handful of the Timothy hay or whatever, orchard grass, whatever we end up getting that round. You know, they get some of the dog food, they get Cheerios. And then normally they would get some of that birdseed blend as well. And I think that plays a big part in helping with cannibalism and keeping them from chewing on the tubs and stuff. Is like, because you see people talk about rats chewing their ways out of tubs and things, right? I think a lot of that is just keeping their mouths busy. Like they have that hay and stuff to chew on. They have the other food options around to chew on. Like they don't get desperate to where they feel they have to start chewing their way out of things to find.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a rodent. Its teeth are still growing. It's got to chew on something.
Yeah.
That's good. It's a good observation.
And water access.
Yeah,
I think water is the biggest problem why people get cannibalism with mice. Because I've noticed the times that I do have cannibalism is the times that water was either the system got clogged or something, or, you know, the bottle in the grow out tank got empty. You know, that's when I notice there's cannibal problems.
Okay.
So speaking of, me and Jake went and cleaned Sunday, and I had a small group of 4 in a tub. I'm now, because of this, I'm waiting for them to get a little bigger before I put them in like the adult tubs in the small groups that I do with the breeders. But 2 of them had ganged up on one of them and literally like ate the brain. So there was just a little skull with a body that hadn't even been touched, and the brain was gone, but the skull was still there, but like hollowed out. It was, dude, they're mice are freaking brutal.
Oof.
It is gross.
Oof.
And I think the problem with that one was, and this is like the reason I'm wanting to now wait a little longer and give them an extra week or 2 to get some size on them before they go into those tubs, is I think they struggled. Like they could reach the water nozzle and they could reach the food on the screen, but I think they were just slightly too short to get it regularly. I think they were wearing themselves out trying to get to that. And so when you have that happen, I think that's when they start turning on each other. And that's when they're like, I'm thirsty. I'm going to eat you and drink your blood.
Yep.
Because I don't have that issue with my adults. Like, I don't have cannibalism with full-grown adult mice. I don't have that problem. These guys were a little small, and I was like, you know, they can go in there. They'll be all right. So I told Jake, I was like, now I'm just gonna wait until they're pretty much full-grown before I start putting them into those, you know, 1.3s or whatever that we do. So.
Okay.
Do you ever give them like a suet block or anything?
No, I used to buy the mealworm blocks that you get for birds and cut those up. I called them Mice Krispies because you cut it up into squares. It looked just like Rice Krispie treats, but I'd cut it up into squares and just put a block of that in there with them.
Yeah.
And they love some dried mealworms. Like they go nuts over those. But that was to the point where it was just getting expensive, and they eat it so fast it doesn't last. So I was just, I don't, you know.
Well, I was wondering because I know you can get the suet blocks. Like there's like a berry blend for, you know.
I've thought about it, but it seems to me, because we have one of those little holders in a tree in the front yard, and we get it for the birds all the time. I think it's too much fat and oil and stuff.
Okay.
You know, it's a lot of that. It's almost like butter.
Yeah,
it's just much of that and less of the nuts itself. Because I have thought about it. Like I've looked at them and been like, you know, those probably wouldn't be bad for the mice. But then after taking a closer look at it and sort of feeling it and stuff myself and reading the ingredients, I think it's all fat and just stuff that they can have, I'm sure, but you'd have to make it almost like a dessert sort of thing, like they only get a little bit of that once a week.
What about those can of worms or canos? They have a can of snails, and it's like Zumet, I think. Have you thought about getting like a can of mealworms where it's already candied and dried, and you can just?
I haven't, but it's like as expensive as those cans are at PetSmart and how small they are. I might as well just, because Tractor Supply and Lowe's, they all sell dried mealworms by the bag, by like 1 pound bag. But even those aren't cheap either. It's like if I'm going to do that, I'm just going to get that Royal Wing blend with the dried mealworms in it, and just get it over with, because then they're getting that and more.
Yeah. And then have you been putting live mealworms too?
I haven't yet.
Okay.
Oh man, they're gonna lose their mind.
Yeah, I have no doubt they'd eat them. I haven't. I know. So like, I think Rob and maybe Matt Most, they give theirs like unsalted shelled peanuts.
Okay.
I really like those a lot. I haven't done those yet either. I'll cut up sweet potato and put it in with mine. They really like that a lot. I think that's good for the moms because it's it's high carb. It's sweet, so they're all about it, and they're a lot like us, where if you give them sweet stuff, they're going to eat that first every time. You're going to they don't have any self-control. That's why I give them regular Cheerios instead of Honey Nut. But those Cheerios, man, they go crazy for those. And then Walmart sells a mega box for like $5, and it's huge, and that usually lasts me about a week. So
good.
But I think
give them Fruit Loops, see what happens.
My hope there is that with the dog food, which isn't a super greasy, like I said, it's a higher quality dog food. It's not like Old Roy or old busted shit like that. The dog food, I think I'm hoping that the Cheerios sort of counterbalance that with like cholesterols and stuff like that and things. I don't know. It's just I'm always thinking about feeders and how they're being fed and trying to figure out sort of what's the sweet spot and getting the healthiest ones possible. And so
good.
Smith Farms.
Oh man.
Well, gentlemen, is there anything else we want to touch base on before we wrap this one up?
Yeah. I think they were all pretty tired.
Well, Mr. Ryan Cox, thank you for joining us. A pleasure as always.
Thanks for having me on. Always like to sit around and shoot the shit with you guys.
Yeah, man. Your family. We love it. Justin, you can make me do the outro as well.
This was episode 114 of Snakes and Stogies, brought to you by BlackBoxCages.com. Check them out. Facebook, Instagram, their website. Hit us up. Our response times are pretty quick. Very quick, actually. Lead times are incredibly quick. And, you need a rack, you need a cage. We're the people you need to be talking to. And Phil Wolf can now attest because he has his hands on it. He has his hands on the goods.
I can. I'm really eager to see what happens when I blast it with heat and just cook it. I really like that screen is gorgeous. Like from whatever grade of wire cage screening they use, that shit looks good. So
yeah, that ain't gonna break.
Yeah, it ain't gonna deform or warp.
I feel like you could probably jump on it like a trampoline and it wouldn't even bust.
Yeah.
So blackboxcages.com and then Puget Sound Pythons, Gendra, Jeff and Kendra.
Woo-hoo.
Awesome folks. We're happy to call friends. Check them out. Facebook, Instagram. They have YouTube as well. Reptile News Radio. You need to check it out.
You do.
Go tell Jeff you like his mustache.
That's right.
He's keeping that mustache way longer than I thought he would. I'm really proud of him.
I'm proud of that man.
Really proud of him.
I've shaved my beard more than he shaved his mustache.
There is no THP this week.
What happened?
There's corn stars this week.
Ooh. Very nice. Very nice.
I'm going to leave it at that.
Very nice.
I don't want to tease too much.
In case everybody backs out.
No, I like to keep some mystery. I don't want to show my hand.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yes.
So that'll be good. Chris and I doing our thing, talking some corn snakes, all that good stuff. We'll see y'all later.
Later on, y'all.